So if you guys click this video, of course, I'll be doing a detailed tutorial on how to create a lace frontal wig. So I'm going to be using Celie Hair today, and I've got 3 bundles in the closure. My closure is 18 inches, and it's also transparent lace, and that is perfect lace to work with, so you can tint it to match your specific skin color. And for me, that is very important. And of course, I have my 3 bundles. I've got a 22, 20 inch, and an 18 inch in Brazilian body wave. So I've gone ahead and bleached the knots on my frontal. Oh my god, I didn't show you guys that part, but I'm sure you guys can find a video on that. But after you've done that, you can go ahead and put your cap onto the mannequin head. So I measure my mannequin, or my head, front to back and ear to ear. And I put it on the cap I put it on the mannequin head to match those measurements. And when I'm pinning my frontal on, I pull it down by maybe half an inch in the very front. And then for the back, this is sometimes a tricky part. Sometimes I feel like you don't want to go too forward with the lace frontal, but you don't want to go too far back. You gotta find like a happy medium. So somewhere right in between, that is where you should pin it. And this is where the frontal is going to be behind your ear. So I'm pinning it there, and I'm going to do the other side. Again, don't go too forward, don't go too far back. So this is going too forward. That's going too far back. Just somewhere in between. Exactly. And you're going to pin that there. So once you have your frontal pinned down, you are going to sew the back of the frontal down first, if you get what I mean. Of course, you're watching this video. So I'm going to sew from the center to one side, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So basically, you don't want to sew the frontal with one go. You want to do one side going one direction, and then the other side going the other direction, just like this. One thing I've found that helps when I'm sewing is keeping tension on my thread. So as you can see, I'm pulling my thread with my other hand while I sew. Also, when I come to the part of the cap that has the elastic in it, I actually sew like all the way through to the elastic. I don't just sew on the fabric on top. And when I also get to the end of where I'm sewing, I actually sew in the opposite direction again. So I kind of double back just so that the end is very secure. So once you've sewn down both sides, you're going to start with your track. So my weft is still doubled. So it's a double weft I'll be sewing with. And this is the longest bundle I'm using. So as you can see, I went through the frontal, and I also went through my tracks. So when I'm sewing the first track, I always go through the actual track with the needle and not around the track. So I go through the track. And when I tie my knot, I put my thread through itself and I pull it really, really tight. So I'll show you guys that again. Also, you don't have to put the needle through everything all at once. You can put it through the cap, then put it through one track, and then put it through another track. And as you can see, I'm also trying to keep that tension on the thread that I'm holding with my other hand that's not sewing. You guys get what I mean? So you don't have to sew through the weft the entire time, but I do like to do it in the first couple of stitches. I just feel it adds more security to the weft and to the track being sewn to the cap. If you guys are understanding me, okay, let me know. Yeah, so now I'm just sewing around the weft, but I feel really good about those first couple of stitches. So now I'm coming to the end of this track, and some people fold their track over and start sewing again. I'm going to cut my track where it ends. It's not that big of a deal. Some people don't want to cut it because they want to avoid the hair shedding. But what's a couple of strands of hair? I mean, you'll survive, you know? So when I end it, I'm going to go frontal again. And I'm going to give it a couple of goes before I actually cut it. Now for the next track, and I'm going to keep this kind of, it's like a U shape that I got going on here. So it's going to keep kind of being a U. So once again, I put the needle through the track, or through the frontal, then through the tracks, and then I put the needle through the thread to secure it for my first stitch. And a suggestion for beginners, if you want, you can actually tack your track with the pins so that it's not falling down. So that can be annoying, like even if you're not a beginner. So if you want, you can just use a pin to kind of just keep it held up, just like how I've done here. So I'm going to keep going with these rows. For me, I try to keep my rows maybe a finger and a half in width apart from each other. And if you want it to be really, really full, you can make the tracks 1 finger width apart, if you get what I mean. There's just the width of your finger. So if you want your wig to be very dense, just use your finger as a spacer. But my wig isn't going to be too dense, so it's about a finger and a half width. So this is the last row of my 22-inch bundle. So once I complete this row, I'm going to have a U shape left. And from there, I'll be using my 20-inch bundle to start going straight across. So this is the U I got left, and I'm going to start sewing straight 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. And sometimes I don't put my needle through the very, very tip end of the tracks. Sometimes I have a little extra track, but I can always trim that track down. So I just want to make sure I have enough track for my needle and thread to just securely, attach to. So I'm going to do straight rows for about 4 rows right up to the track of the frontal. And I'm going to sew the last one right to the frontal. So this is what it looks like when I'm all done. So I want to show you something about my frontal. I actually only bleached the very, very, very front, the center, and the 2 side parts. And the reason I did that was because frontals can become really weak from being bleached. So I'm trying to spare as much damage as I can to the frontal, because it does shed once you bleach it, the roots become weak and it sheds a lot. So that is why my frontal kind of looks like that. That way I can do a side part on either side or a center part. And of course I'm cutting off the excess fabric underneath. And remember, don't cut too close to where you sewed. Just give yourself a good little room there. So I'm also going to make my wig brown. And I don't have box dye or anything like that, so I am just using my regular bleach. I'm starting at the front because I want the front to be a bit more brown or even almost blonde. So I want to start at the front so it has more time to change the hair. This step is pretty easy. You don't have to be, an artist, but just put your bleach evenly on the hair, as even as you can, As you can see, I don't even have like a real pattern happening. I'm just putting the bleach pretty much everywhere. So I want to talk a bit about the hair. I want to say I actually really do like the quality of this hair. And on the frontal, it was pre-plucked at the very front. And I really like the way the knots look. They're actually really nice and small. And I definitely use this hair again. And I do really love that the frontal, the lace is transparent. So those are things I really love about this hair. So it's called Celie Hair, and of course I have a link in the description box where you can get the hair as well. And I have a coupon code. So be sure to check the description box for all the details. Now, I'm not going to leave this in for too long, but as you can see, it's already starting to change. It's been like 20 minutes. I'm not trying to go blonde, I'm just trying to do a little brown. So I'm going to wash it out. Now, I did use purple shampoo. It's called Shimmer Lights, or any purple shampoo can do the trick. If you do want to purchase it, you would ask for a toner shampoo, and it's just purple shampoo really. And what it does is take out that kind of copper tone, that kind of brassiness, that kind of orange out of the hair when you bleach it, and it brings it to a more natural brown. And now that the hair is all done, I have the straightening serum. It's by Chi. Again, you can use any straightening serum that you want, but I just find that it helps the hair to really be straight, and it kind of brings back a little bit of shine. So I'm just adding a little bit to the hair before I curl it. So this is what it looks like, all curled up. Okay, let's get closer. I didn't even know I was going to do that. So I've already curled it. No, that's not that exciting. But I'm going to show you how I cut my frontal. As you can see, I'm cutting it in a kind of zigzag motion. You don't want to cut too blunt straight because you want to create an illusion that, of course, you don't have a wig on. So when it's straight, it just looks really obvious. But when you kind of cut it in a, unnatural pattern, it's harder to detect. Now, frontal is on my head, and it fits like a glove. And to be honest, guys, I think I could have brought the frontal a bit more forward when I was sewing it to the cap. It's a little bit too perfect on my hairline, and I would prefer it to be more on my actual face. This is what it looks like close up, and there's a little bit of excess glue from my last wig. But besides that, I need to cut the lace around my ear. I'm not committing to this wig, so I'm not going to be using my Ghost Spawn glue. I'm just going to be using this Got To Be hairspray to secure it to my forehead, just like that. And so another thing I wanted to add is that when you make your wig, precise enough and you measure everything correctly, you don't actually require an elastic band. So I do not have an elastic band in my wig. But if you do want to add an elastic band, that's definitely up to you. But the only thing securing the wig to my head is the glue or the hairspray that I'm using. Now, if you do notice, I didn't make much baby hairs. So I'm going in and just taking down like very few strands of hair, just to create that illusion where you're not able to detect the beginning of the lace. Like literally just a few strands of hair. I don't go too crazy with the baby hairs.
But that's all she wrote, folks. All done. Oh my god, she's so cute. LOL. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe. And if you guys are interested in Celie Hair, the link to their store is down below, so be sure to check them out and use my coupon code. Alright guys, I'm gone and I'll see you next time. Love you. Bye.
Baby, let me know if I should go.